the input of a integrator, then what I'll get? Triangular wave. So one point I'll be using as a square wave generator, another point of op-amp 2 I'll be using as a triangular wave generator. So I'll get two types of waveform there. So let us see how is this square and triangular wave generator. So first of all, we will see a square wave generator. Now you are familiar with the split trigger we have just now studied. You are familiar with this portion, how we are giving positive feedback. This was a non-inverting terminal and we have given feedback to the non-inverting terminal and we used to connect your input, okay, in Smith trigger. Now what we will do instead of that input, we will connect a capacitor and a feedback resistor. This capacitor C and another end we will ground. We will not give any type of external input. कुठला sine wave कुठलाही signal दिलेला नाही inputला. Simply we have connected here there a capacitor and we have grounded another terminal of capacitor. Have you understood the circuit? Okay. You are familiar with the Smith trigger circuit, but now I have not given input to this circuit. And still this circuit is going to generate a waveform. Still this circuit is going to generate a waveform. So let's see how it will work. Now you know how comparison, VUT, VLT, you know how comparator compares and give you either plus VSAT or minus VSAT. Okay. So you will get two types of output depending on whether V1 is greater or V2 is greater. Okay. So V1 and V2, let's call V1 as voltage at terminal 1. So let's call this as V1 and this as V2. What is V2? Voltage here. How to calculate? Now you are familiar. This you know very well how to calculate this voltage. Okay. And you know when this voltage is greater, output will switch to plus VSAT. When this voltage is greater, output will switch to minus VSAT. Is it clear? V2 and V1 are the different voltages at terminal 1 and 2. This V2 is nothing but this voltage which is fixed. Okay. And V1 is nothing but the voltage across capacitor. See how? This is V1, this is 0. What is VC? VC is voltage across capacitance, that is V1 minus 0. It means VC is equal to V1. Here voltage 0 है, voltage V1 है. So voltage across capacitor is V1 minus 0. Okay? Means V1. So voltage across capacitor is V1. And voltage at this point is, you can calculate, that is I into R2. Okay, that will come R2 upon R1 plus R2 into VO. And VO is going to become either plus VSAT or minus VSAT. Now initially, when you switch on this circuit, when you make the power supply on, at that instant, voltage across capacitance will be 0. Moment you switch on the circuit, does the circuit switch on karta? At the very beginning instance, the voltage across capacitor is 0. Right? सुरुवातीला कॅपॅसिटरच्या अक्रॉस व्होल्टेज किती असेल? 0 असेल. And what will be the voltage across this moment you switch on the circuit? Circuit switch on झाल्याबरोबर कॅपॅसिटर काही चार्ज नाहीये. Okay, so voltage across capacitor is 0. V1 is 0. What about V2? V2, you know, there will be a very small output voltage at V2 because of offset voltage. Error voltage तुम्हाला माहित आहे? So because of existing offset voltage, there will be some finite value of V2, very small. So initially, moment is switch on the circuit, what is the state? V1 is 0 and V2 is having some value. So who is greater now? What is greater? V1 or V2? V2. Because of that offset voltage, there is, because of the bias current and offset voltage, you will find some error voltage. So V2 is greater and therefore output will switch to, output क्या होना? Plus Vsat or minus Vsat?
Plus Vsat.
Very good. Plus Vsat. Output will be plus Vsat. So moment you switch on the circuit, output will be plus Vsat. So your output has become plus Vsat. सुरुवातीला काय होतं? Voltage across capacitor 0. Here there is, because of the offset voltage, there was small value of V2. Because V2 is greater than V1, output has switched to plus Vsat. Now moment it becomes plus Vsat, your circuit start working. Current will start flow like this and it will start charging the capacitor. काय होणार? The capacitor will start getting charged. कारण की output एका साइडला प्लस Vsat झालेला आहे. So current will flow which will charge the capacitor. So capacitor has started charging. Are you getting? कळतंय? Initially जेव्हा moment तुम्ही switch on केला तेव्हा capacitor charge नव्हता. Vc was 0. Voltage across capacitor was 0. It means V1 was 0. And there was some offset, because of offset voltage, there was some value of V2. Because V2 was greater, output switched to plus Vsat. Moment output becomes plus Vsat, capacitor starts charging. Current established होणार and capacitor will start charging. So when capacitor starts charging, slowly the voltage across capacitor starts increasing. बरोबर? जसा capacitor charge होणार तसा capacitor च्या across the voltage वाढत जाणार. Okay? So you can imagine the voltage across capacitor has started increasing. So it is increasing and moment will come that it will become greater than V2. V2 voltage आहेच तिथे already. V1 वाढायला लागलाय कारण capacitor charge व्हायला लागला. Okay? So moment voltage across capacitor exceeds V2, what will happen? Output काय होणार? Op-amp, the output will switch to minus Vsat. Why? Because your capacitor was voltage, it was charging. Therefore, Vc was increasing. Moment your Vc crosses V2, output will switch to minus Vsat. आता काय होणार? Output minus Vsat झालंय. कॅपॅसिटरचं काय होईल? चार्ज होईल तो पुढे? कारण आता पोलॅरिटी चेंज झाली, मायनस Vsat झाला. So it will now start discharging. आता काय होणार? Capacitor will start discharging. Capacitor start discharging, voltage Vc will slowly reduce. Discharge होताना कॅपॅसिटरच्या अक्रॉसचं voltage जे आहे ते reduce व्हायला लागेल. Okay? So when it starts reducing, a stage will come that it will reduce below V2. आणि आता V2 मोठा झाला. What will happen? Output is switched to plus Vsat. Okay? एकदा आउटपुट मला मिळालाय प्लस Vsat. मग कॅपॅसिटर चार्ज व्हायला लागला. जसा तो चार्ज V2 पेक्षा एक्सीड झाला, आउटपुट has switched to minus Vsat. Again, capacitor has started discharging, output switched to plus Vsat. So what I am getting at the output? Square wave. Right? Square wave. I am getting plus Vsat, minus Vsat, plus Vsat, minus Vsat. Capacitor will one start charging, one start discharging. So ultimately, I am getting output as a square wave. Let's draw the waveform. So initially when there was no voltage across capacitor, V2 was greater, therefore output was plus V sat. When output is plus V sat, capacitor has started charging